So on October 30th, 1970, my mom is up in the stirrup contraption, and she's screaming and hollering at people. And at the end, at her end, is the doctor with his catcher's mitt ready. So he's ready. And behind him is a person from the Social Security Department who says, we're going to wait to see what this is. Because he's going to pay Social Security even though he won't live long enough to get it. And we're going to add FICA, and I don't even know who FICA is, to all of his checks. Right? So that's one person standing there. There's another person from the school board who said, we need to take a census, so we'll look and see what happens when he comes out. And here are the racial categories that we'll use for his schooling. Black, white, other. Because those are all the categories that were available, right? So they're sitting there, they're waiting on that. And then there's, you know, the judicial system is in the back. They're like, okay, so he's poor, so he'll go to Head Start. He's got 2 pathways. One is jail, and the other one is college. So we'll wait and see what happens, right? So you know, everybody's waiting there with their lists and their checklists, and then all of a sudden, I come out. Poof. And everybody has their checklist ready to fill. Oh, check, got him. Oh, check, got him. Oh, check, got him. You see, before I was born, I was human. When I was born, I became what society had already created for me. Each one of those folks with those checklists had an expectation of what they thought I could or should or would be. I would say the same is for each and every one of you. That once you were born, you became white, or you became Italian, or you became Czechoslovakian. Whatever society had set up for you is what you became. But you have always been human. And so when we talk about this diversity stuff, and we ask, you know, why are these immigrants, you know, from St. Cloud coming into our community, right? Why are the people from, and it's so funny because I was working with, do I want to call the county? No, I don't want to call the county's name. But they kept asking me, it was somewhere down close to Mankato, but it wasn't Mankato, right? But they were asking me, they were like, well, how do we deal with all these people from Chicago? We have all these people from Chicago. I was like, first check their passports. I'm glad you guys got the joke, because some of them were like, they have passports? Right? So what do all these people want? And I want to tell you that they want the same thing that you want. They want the same things that you want. They want a sense of significance, they want belonging, and they want safety. That's what you want for your families, and that's what other people want for their families. But the problem is that we get these things confused because we don't understand where people are coming from. And so I was watching this this documentary, and they were talking about, you know, intelligence across the globe. And I always think that it's funny that the people who are doing the studies, their groups are always on the top. They're always like the smartest of all the people, you know, whenever they're doing these studies, right? So I always find that ironic. But so they're doing the study, and they're talking about all this stuff, and they're talking about IQ and how this group's IQ is higher than this group's IQ. And I'm like, IQ for what? And then I think about the United States, right? So how many of you grew up on a farm? Or near a farm, or know about farming, that kind of stuff? All right, cool. Is there a certain kind of intelligence one needs to have being on a farm? Yeah. What are some of the things you need to know how to do on a farm?
Tractor.
You know, to haul a tractor or drive a tractor. What else? You know how to take care of animals, right? You have to know how to fix stuff, because you just can't go over to Jiffy Lube or whatever and get your oil changed. You got to make stuff happen with your own tractor, right? So there are certain kinds of intelligences that you need on a farm. So what would happen if I took that farmer out of greater Minnesota and I put him in downtown Manhattan? What might the people in Manhattan say about that farmer? that he's dumb, that he's what?
Stupid.
That he's stupid, that he's a hick. He might say all those things, right? They might say all those things. But what would happen if I took that person from Manhattan and I dropped them in a farm in greater Minnesota? What would the people at the farm say about that individual? Shoot him because he's no good for anything. Right? What do you do with the dog that doesn't hunt? Okay, no, I'm sorry. Right? So intelligence for what? And so when we talk about, our immigrant communities moving in or people from different mindsets or different ways of being, they want the same things that we want. The things that are different are how they get what they want. And that's what appears to be different, right? So they want the same things that we want, and how they get there just seems a little bit different. All right? Cool. Any questions so far? I've hit you with a lot of stuff. Done a lot of yelling and screaming at you, so I want to make sure you're okay. All right? Any questions so far? All right. Any of these concepts new, different? Heard the stuff before? Am I repeating the same old stuff that you've heard? No? Okay, cool. Well, we'll keep going. Just did that one. So, here are some of my basic beliefs and my basic principles for the kind of work that I do. I believe that people can learn, change, and grow. Who I am today is not who I was at 17. Thank God. Right? So there is an opportunity for us to develop and to get new tools, right? So we're not stuck. All human behavior is goal-directed. People do stuff because they want to get something out of that particular behavior. All right? So all human behavior is goal-directed. One of the things that is really frustrating when we work with little kids is that we'll tell them not to do something, and then they'll do it, and then we ask a goofy question because we already know why, but we just want to hear it for our own, sanity. And we say, Jeffrey, why did you do that? And what is Jeffrey's response that drives us crazy? I don't know. Right? Knowing that they know why they did that. So all human behavior is goal-directed. People do what makes sense to them, even if it doesn't make sense to who? To you and I, right? So our understanding why people do stuff is not a precursor